welcome to another edition of the Alta Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I am your host, Charlie. This is Zealeus, and that is Jesse. We have not one, two, but we have three hosts. And now that Charlie has,
I'm glad to say this was not. Usually it's my fault we screw up.
Yes, I know.
For once, it's not my fault. It's because you're here.
It is because I'm here. It's true.
All right. Let's get into it.
That was the best start ever
I
to
know.
Alta Confusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, the Alta Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. This is our weekly show where we discuss the topics that you, the audience, have provided for us and voted upon. So let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the first topic on our list is, of course, a heavy hitter, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the OverWatch Pro League setting to already potentially expand to other locations. Basically, they're going to Europe and maybe more into Asia. But as many of you probably remember, it was a $20 million buy. Okay, so Dallas, San Francisco, New York, Boston, the area between Orlando and Miami.
Jesse's house.
Seoul, Shanghai.
Sounds about right.
There's I think there's one in, I already said Dallas, right?
Yes, you did.
California. It's San Francisco and LA. So what they're predicting is that the buy-in's probably at the bare minimum going to cost you $35 million.
Pocket change, bro.
But remember, the season is currently underway. Now, if it does like amazing, blows everyone away, then the buy-in could be as high as $60 million.
Or people get bored with the season and it goes down.
That sounds like a lot of money.
It's more money than I have, unfortunately.
It's more money than most people.
Well, actually, the reports say that. Well, I mean, it's still a little bit early on, but with the addition of Toyota being one of the main sponsors and Pepsi, there's not a lot of fear that the anticipation is going to go down, especially since Shanghai finally got a player who can at least keep them in the games.
Yes.
The first ever female professional esports.
Well, they were undefeated in the wrong column.
No, they were totally defeated.
That's
They were
undefeated
unvictored.
in the wrong column.
No,
that makes no sense.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
No sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to pause for a second. I have to do the do.
Jesse, you know this all too well.
Yeah,
You remember this part?
I still don't know how he drinks this.
Neither do I. It's quite amazing. But of course, the question is that the article had also brought up is foreign investors are still a bit tepid when it comes to stepping into the spending 20s, of 30s, of 40s millions of dollars on
Up to 60.
Up to 60 on a league. Typically, the foreign investors are a little bit less. They're not into speculative trading as much as us Americans. We like to gamble, throw it out, see maybe we get lucky. In this case, they did.
Losing $60 million is a lot of money to lose.
Exactly, and that's why the question still is, are they going to get these foreign investors? Because you look at some of them, a lot of times when you're investing, it's, as a company, it's so you can also staple your name on there for global appeal. But you look like in, say, for instance, South Korea is a big one. Well, a lot of those companies who you think would have the money, well, they're not really advertising overseas. They're very specific to their region. So, like, what incentive do some of these companies potentially have to really kind of partake in a global industry like Overwatch when they're not global?
Well, see, here's the thing, and you kind of hit upon it. The Europeans are a little bit tighter on their money. They've got quite a few League of Legends teams, professional League of Legends teams overseas, but they didn't immediately jump in. Mm-hmm. They waited to see how everything's kind of settled down. I think they got in, after season 2 maybe.
Yeah.
There are, however, some individuals who are American but own international franchises in Europe that may be jumping in. So that could potentially be.
I feel like it's the Philadelphia Eagles owner actually owns a English Premier League or one of those.
So Fulham's Shad Khan, Crystal Palace's Harris Blitzer in entertainment, and Liverpool's Fenway Sports Group are a couple of the ones.
Khan own the Jaguars?
That's maybe what I'm thinking of. One of those. Shad Khan.
Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars. Yeah. That guy. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I would like to see it succeed, but I don't know if it's it. I would be less surprised if another U.S. team is actually. I already know that there's a U.S. There's an owner in the U.S. Professional owner in the U.S. who wants to get an expansion team, and that is the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. He wants in, but of course, the season started, so he's got to wait till it's all over. So he's just. Can he put the money in now and say, "Hey, I'm willing to go in"? You said 30, right? Here's 30. If it increases, well, I already gave you your money, so just write it on the contract, please.
I'm surprised Mick Cuban doesn't get on this.
Who?
Mark Cuban?
I thought you said Mick Cuban.
I don't know. This all feels like a professional bocce league to me. Like,
Look,
we know what's going on, but no one seems to really care outside of bocce.
Well,
Yes.
Well, I think Mark Cuban's got a couple other issues happening right now.
He does.
Yes, this is true.
So he probably. I mean, there is a Dallas team. I don't know who owns it though.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jesse. I still feel like it's almost like a bubble waiting to happen with these teams because I think it's, we talk about, esports, it's on ESPN, the Ocho, or ESPN2 or whatever at times. But I think outside of people like us who actually care about these video games specifically, I just don't see the appeal outside the people who actually play those games.
But here's the funny thing. To date, every single time that they have put Chuck Norris, thanks, Nudge. Every single time that they have put on one of these, when they broadcast these games, they have received higher viewer ratings than any Thursday night football game of the entire NFL season.
That's because no one watches Thursday Night Football.
I know. I'm just saying though. It's not like they're getting like.
They're at least getting ratings.
Yes,
It's
they're
not-
getting ratings,
Yeah, they're
yes.
at least. It's not like they're not getting anything. They're at least people are watching it.
Saying like they're getting the same ratings as Thursday Night Football also sounds like they got the same ratings as Curling Night in America.
Fine. They got the same. They got better ratings than watching the Atlanta Braves last season.
That's again not hard. They're probably going to get the same ratings as the Marlins this season.
Anyways,
See?
no. So, anyways, I'm very, like I said, I'm very interested. They are thinking about, of course, they want to get into Europe and Asia. I believe they're trying to target areas like Germany and France. And then in the Asian market, I believe they are trying to get into China. Of course, China.
And if you get into China, then you have 1.6 billion people that you can then get to. So you're going to have then bigger ratings than the NFL, and that's actually important because the top-rated sports player in the NFL is only ranked 50th most popular in the world, and that's Tom Brady.
Do you know who the top basketball player in China is?
It's still Yao Ming, probably.
Stephon
Stephon
Marbury.
Marbury.
Starbury.
He's got an entire museum dedicated to
Yeah.
him. How crazy is
Well, the
that?
thing is, there are 3 cricket players that are more
Yep.
popular around the world than Tom Brady and LeBron James.
Well, of course. That's smart.
India.
India. You hit those big markets, you get billions of people to watch.
All right, so we'll see what happens. This we've got to get through the first season before we actually see, if this is actually going to happen or who else is going to join in or how many teams are going to join in. Right now, there are 12. Milwaukee's trying to get number 13, and so I would not be surprised that if this season goes well and it finishes off strong, I would say, let's see, they started off with 12. I'd say 4 more teams wouldn't be too much to ask.
Excellent.
So
When's the
16?
Pro Bowl?
I don't know, when is the Pro Bowl?
At least for esports, is there a Pro Bowl?
Could you have like a NBA style draft where it's like you've never played with each other before, you just draft each other, and then you
You
play
mean like
against.
what the hockey tried to do before the NBA did? What I don't understand is why they don't televise it. Are they scared that the
Oh.
pros gonna be like, I got picked last?
You know why they actually didn't televise it?
Why?
Because
They didn't think anybody was going to want to watch it.
oh no, that's not the reason.
Everybody wanted to see that drama.
It's because Stefan from the Golden State Warriors.
Steph Curry.
Thank you. Steph Curry didn't want to televise.
Well, then
Like,
he
they
can
came
go
out-
suck a left nut.
They came out and said that's why they didn't televise it, because he didn't
Well,
want
Steph
it to.
Curry,
Because he was one of the captains.
Steph Curry should get a kick to the cojones because he could have made bang.
Oh,
All
I
right.
agree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic. And the next one is a bit of, I don't know, a flashback, if you would. That, of course, is let's continue more on the subject of gaming disorders. Now we talked about the World Health Organization adding gaming disorder ICD-11 in its international classification of diseases. Of course, gaming disorder is defined as a pattern of gaming behavior characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities to extend that gaming takes precedence over other interests and daily activities, and continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. Blah.
That's a lot of words, man.
I know. So we have a professor of medicine at the University of Connecticut School of Medicine, which just seems like, so weird for me to like. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is directly from her. People do develop significant problems related to gaming. These individuals tend to be young and male, but include adults as well. I love the classification of adults, because so they kind of like. But anyways, gaming disorder can cause significant harm to people's lives. The most sensationalized are when they kill their parents when trying to stop gaming. Who the hell has done that? Who the hell has killed their parents because they can't stop gaming?
There was once that couple in South Korea who killed their daughter while playing an online game where they raised a child.
Right, but give me a freaking I have never heard of that. It's probably happened like once, right? But I love how it's like when they kill their parents when they try to stop gaming. But there may be other disorders at play in those cases. No shit, Sherlock.
Somehow I think, and I get the idea where they're coming from with the gaming disorder, is it would seem plausible that if you have a gaming disorder, it's not like that's the only thing going on in your life.
Right.
There's probably a whole lot of other underlying issues, and it's manifest themselves in many ways. One potential way is you dive into your video games, you spend way too many hours doing that, and if you kill your parents because of video games, I'm pretty confident to say, I know I'm not a psychologist, but there's something else going on under the surface besides just playing video games.
Well, my plan is to buy a ranch in the southwest of the United States and then have people come to help with my program.
No. According to some reports, they're saying that 15% of the general population have an addiction to gaming. I don't think it's that high.
It could be. You never know.
Now, of course, the harm of naming it as a mental disorder is that some people just like to play games a lot and are labeled inappropriately. Absolutely, I agree. Some would say I have a gaming addiction, but I'm a reviewer. So, I guess it's still an addiction. Anyways.
Does it adversely affect other parts of your life on a regular basis?
Yes.
Oh, well.
I don't go to the
Are you
bathroom
hiding video
as often.
games behind the toilet?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you get the shakes when you're not playing video games?
I get the shakes when I don't drink enough Mountain Dew. Is that...
Well, that's a different story.
We know you're addicted to the
So here's the thing. Basically, they're calling video game addiction as an addiction, of course, an addiction disorder, loss of control in one's life over the behavior or substance being used. The person knows it's bad for them, but continue to do it anyways. You constantly think about it. You feel cravings to play it. You spend inordinate amounts of time on the internet. I don't understand that last part, the internet. Games don't have to be on the internet. But you're right. It's that craving, that shaking. That's like, I need to play. They're saying that a lot of the gaming abuse may be associated with other disorders, such as depression, anxiety, or ADHD.
That makes sense.
So most teenagers.
Those may be part of the initiation of excessive gaming, but once the gaming illness is engraved in the brain, it tends to have a life of its own. There is a statement by another doctor who I believe studies psychology. With substances, you either use heroin or you don't. It's pretty easy to know if you suffer from that illness. With gambling or gaming, there are gray zones that are more difficult to make sense of. But that doesn't mean an illness doesn't exist. If you here's for me and Jesse, not for hopefully one day. If you suspect your child or someone in your life has a gaming problem, seek out mental health professional for the full evaluation. If it appears to be a complex case, they can refer you to a specialist in addiction psychiatry. Studies keep showing that you don't let gaming, or other technology in their bedroom. No duh. Keep it in a public place so at least you have some control. No shit.
That's why I steal extra phones. My parents don't.
And now here
know
comes the
my
crazy
second
thing. You can expect the child to resist. Duh.
one. That's their job.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, sure, yeah, there are individuals who definitely go off the deep end, and there are those cases of the individuals who literally play themselves to death in those internet cafes. Was it 48 hours straight? And someone like, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" And you just,
I think that's probably an actual addiction.
yeah, no,
That
that's
could be
absolutely
very
addiction. Well, it's just like the parents. They were so enthralled on taking care of a virtual baby they let their baby die. So yes, absolutely, I think there's an addiction. I seriously doubt that it's 15% of the general population. I think it's a much smaller. However, when classifying this as World Health Organization identified disease, I fear that people are going to use it as a like a scapegoat. It's because I have I've got video game addiction. No, you don't. You're just an asshole.
Well, if you read what the WHO actually says, like, they're very specific. It's not just like a casual, like, I play video games a lot. Like, they're very specific about the length. It's like over the span of 12 months, you're showing these behaviors. And it's very clearly adversely affecting. It's not just like an offshoot, like, you're playing too many video games.
Usually when they
at least 12 months.
They describe disorders, it's over a long period of time. It's not something you do over a week. Usually it's things that affect your life over years.
Right. And it was just like, alcohol or any drug addiction. As time goes by, with any kind of addiction, you're trying to achieve that first high. So you keep doing more and more and more. You become more withdrawal. You probably spend more money.
Hello, DLCs and microtransactions.
Hello.
I mean, that's basically microtransactions.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us get into what is called the YouTube demonetization movement.
I think it's like demonization is what I was hearing.
Yeah, demonization. All right, so as many people, or maybe some people, have learned, a lot of the smaller YouTubers, Ultra Confusion, of course, included, as well as White Kid Network as well, we don't have enough subscribers and viewers, so we're no longer eligible for the partnership program. Therefore, we cannot monetize any of our videos. So even if your video just goes boom, but you have a very small, let's see here, you have to have, creators will now need to have accrued 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months and maintain a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. We don't have 1,000 subscribers. We may have 4,000 hours of watch time.
Could they go hire like a Chinese bot to take over and make it look like we do?
No, because it's got to be unique.
It's gotta be unique, yeah.
Yeah, and because a lot of people are like, well, let's game the system. You subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to yours. But the problem there is that you've got the subscribers, but you still don't have the views, because if you sign up for, I don't know, like 500 different channels to help out buddies, and then you do it the other way around, you're not going to be watching their channels, so you're still getting dicked over there. Now, the sad thing is there are a lot of, there's a lot of individuals out there who probably aren't making all that much money off of YouTube ads or, monetizing the videos. However, there are those videos, like I said, sometimes they'll get that hot video. They'll actually get tons and tons of views that goes viral, but their subscriber base doesn't increase, exponentially like the video did. So now someone who might actually be able to pull off, I don't know, like $50 off of a video, they're no longer eligible. So there's a lot of people going, well, what the shit? I understand there's a lot. I mean, one of the things is they're trying to stop the scam artists. They're trying to stop those individuals who basically pop open an account, do some viral crap, make a bunch of money because they have, idiots who they've got bots that basically watch the damn thing over and over and over again so they can game the system. So I understand that. And I know that there's a lot of people are like, well, this is the Logan Paul effect. Logan Paul was.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about Logan Paul?
Is that the guy who found the dead body?
Yeah,
in
the Suicide
woods?
Forest
Yes,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
and a lot of people are like, oh, it's the Logan Paul effect. That is not. Logan Paul is not getting hurt by this at all. Yes, he got removed from the was it the priority group or
Yeah,
whatever,
I know.
the preferred group, but he's still making bank off of all of his videos. So it's not hurting him. There's just YouTube's hurting the little guy while still swinging and missing on those the rules. No abusive stuff, no graphic stuff, no racist stuff. All those things. There was an example of an individual who had who does basically dumb ass pranks, like stupid shit that's actually potentially could be harmful or threatening, and YouTube tagged like the last out of like a 40 video series. Like 39 of them are still up, but they tagged that one. You're like, okay, well, it's the same damn thing. The previous 39 is the exact same thing, but YouTube's not doing anything about it. They're, they got a lot of issues.
With this demonetization, do you think maybe some of these smaller ones, maybe on the cusp of the monetization, might go to something else like a Blender or something else, one of these smaller ones, and maybe try to make it there
I know
instead?
that Facebook is trying to. It's no longer Blender; it's Mixer.
Close enough. The thing that does stuff.
I know that Microsoft Mixer is trying to incentivize streamers to go over there, and I know that Facebook's trying to push that. That they're trying to push their platform to try to do it. But the thing is, for YouTube, you can get ad revenue off of live streams. So the vast majority of it is pre-recorded.
Mhm.
With Mixer and with Facebook, for the most part, those are live. So yeah, they're making the pot sweeter for those individuals who want to stream live. However, you're still getting screwed for if you're hosting your videos, which you should on YouTube, because that's going to get you the most views, but you're not going to have enough subscribers to actually make it. It's stupid.
Well, they're all changing. Even like you look at Instagram, and a bunch of Instagram just changed their algorithm. So now, in order for like people's feed or comments or whatever or posts to show up, you actually have to actively like and comment on their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically doing the Facebook method, where instead of Charlie and I talk, we just
I
want to
just
see
want
kind of
chronological order.
yeah, I just want to see everybody has
I
subscribed.
don't give a
to,
shit about this popularity contest.
Where
I
it's
don't
that.
social media.
See, I just follow cat and hot cosplayers on Instagram. That's what
That's what he does.
And I want to see them like all in order. I don't care about the popularity. Like, if I weren't following them, I wouldn't want to see them.
I have a
That's
friend
my
that's all
problem.
she ever posts on Facebook is cats and dogs and hot cosplayers. I'm like, okay.
It's just me.
No, it's
But anyways,
Oh,
it's
right.
just. But the funny thing is, a lot of people with this Instagram change, a lot of people jumped on a new platform, which ironically everyone's jumping ship from immediately, because it turns out that once they hit 1 million, they're going to start charging a monthly fee.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like every one of these social media platforms. It's like they're trying to figure out a way because
They-
they are a company. They need to make money.
They're trying to push up. They're trying to get the bigger names more attention on their platform. Unfortunately, they keep twisting and changing stuff to the point with Instagram, because you're going to be reading it,
I think chronologically.
right. In my mind, it's chronological. But you should at least have the fucking option to change it back to chronological.
Yes.
Because that's what I do every single time I log into Facebook. No matter how many times I've set it to just do most recent, it always changes back. Son of a bitch, most recent. Because that's what I want to know. I don't care, because a lot of the cosplayers, a lot of the individuals who I watch who I follow on Instagram is like, hey, the next 15 minutes I'm going to be doing this. And then you look at the post, it was 4 days ago.
Yep.
There's no relevance now.
I agree.
Thank you for giving up my hopes and then crushing my balls.
The only thing where it works is the my story.
Yeah, I don't.
But at least
I don't
like
do
people
that
who
much.
post on that, like it
Right.
actually should. And like that's how I want it. It's chronological by poster.
Right.
Like I know it expires after 24 hours, but like that's exactly how I want it to work.
Right, but at the same time, I can. That's the other thing about chronological. I could go back days where my story, you got 24 hours. If I don't know, I lose internet or something, then there's like, oh my God, did you see that? Like, no, I didn't, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. But anyways, YouTube came out, and this is their exact statement here. Our recent changes to the YouTube Partner Program are designed to curb bad actors, stabilize creator revenue, and provide greater assurances to advertisers around where their ads are placed. By making these updates to the YouTube Partner Program, we aim to help creators of all sizes, bullshit, find more success. We have many free resources in place, such as our Creator Academy and YouTube Spaces, to help those just starting out build a community around their channel so that they can ramp up fast and monetize their videos. Basically, it's how-to videos. And let me tell you this right now. You can watch as many of those fuckers as you want, but it doesn't instantly go, I'm gaining viewers, because some of the stuff is like common sense. Promote yourself. Put it on other social media platforms. Make sure that like-minded individuals know about your videos. Share. I'm like, duh. Make sure that your keywords are relevant to the video and are unique enough for those that are looking for specific videos to find your video.
I just think you're bitter. They're trying to help you.
Well, according to Avenue Q, I think we should put it on porn.
The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. Grab your dick and double click for porn.
I'm confused. I thought the internet, it wasn't just for porn anymore.
Well, according to certain individuals, that's all that you get on the internet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are cruising. So let's go into the next topic.
Deep breath, Charlie?
I am deep breathing.
I can tell.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as you may remember, last week we covered the unique perspective that the governor of Kentucky had on what truly was the culprit behind violence in schools. It's not guns, ladies and gentlemen, it was video games, and how much I love that fact. So today, you may have seen there were mass protests everywhere. There was children or students laying down in front of the White House in protest. You had town halls and meet and greets and stuff, and Marco Rubio basically pissed himself, and then basically, yeah, he basically committed political suicide today.
I did not see that.
Was this last night's town hall on CNN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Was it bad?
Well, let's just put it this way. If he had more than 2 feet, he would have also stuck all of those in his mouth.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. I mean, he was svetzing. He was nervous. People just pounding him from all angles. Yeah. No. But the thing that really was the nail in the coffin was, I think it was a student asked him to get this point across. Would you, pledge that you wouldn't take money from the NRA? And he couldn't say yes.
Because it's really not it's not really just a gun issue, and that people from his area really support his platform, and that he's always run on this platform, and that because he's always run on this platform, it's not really an NRA money issue.
Then don't take it.
Then don't take it.
He's like, but I can't. I need it. I need my monies.
It does pay the bills. Keeps the lights open.
All right. Anywho, so with all these town halls and these protests, these walkouts, and ladies and gentlemen, if you are a student out there who did do a walkout, or perhaps you're planning on a walkout in the near future,
March 14th at 10 a.m., 17 minutes.
It's Pi Day.
That is.
It is Pi Day.
I will, in my honest opinion, power to you. You do it. I know that there's a lot of school districts out there going, this is not sanctioned. If you do it, you'll get a 3-day suspension. To take the 3-day suspension. In my honest opinion, it's more important to show solidarity and unity to try to get this topic out there. And I think the ironic, actually, I'm just going to switch over here because we're no longer talking about YouTube. And I'll talk about this in a second. But I think that the ironic thing is, by the grown-ups making such a big deal about this, you're only galvanizing the group of soon-to-be voters to really learn about what needs to be done. So you have, instead of a lot of sheeple, you're going to have a huge youth contingency of very well informed individuals, which should scare the shit out of a lot of politicians.
I have fought against a walkout at my school.
Mhm.
I have talked to my students that you need to think about the end game, and being a school of only about 200 students, is a walkout really going to achieve the goal? I am trying to promote a write-in campaign to politicians instead. Because
That's more productive.
it's more
constructive,
productive
it really is.
actually than a walkout. And it promotes better into the political forum, so hopefully things like blaming video games won't get blamed, because most of my kids and I, at my age, am fine for playing video games. Though I went through a massive rage after playing Little Big Planet for too long.
Because, like I said, I mean, I have nothing against people walking out for political protests, but the reality is students walking out in 314, what is that going to change?
What is that going to change?
Yes.
Right
Not that
to
they shouldn't do it,
politicians.
but what does that actually change? I mean, look at all the protests. I mean, look at look at the Wall Street movement in New York City. What did that change in the long run?
Because they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Exactly.
But
And then the kids know what they're doing.
Yes.
Walking out is a positive way to promote your thing if you have the size and placement of your school
Right.
to
right.
show
Absolutely.
that your walking out matters.
if you're
a
just
small
walking out into
school,
cornfields,
into cornfield, no
Yeah.
one's gonna notice.
But
That's the thing is, my school is small. I think if you're a 2,000 person school in the middle of downtown Atlanta,
well, hell
you
yeah.
make a bigger impact on walking out and holding a sign.
But here's my question, like your point though, of kids know what they're doing, is you get that first group of kids who are walking out and the rest follow them. Are they walking out because this is something they actually believe in, or are they just walking out because, hell, this is a stunt I can do, I can follow the rest of my school out? Balls to the wall.
So sometimes it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The larger the crowd, whether they're walking out for whatever reason, people don't have to know why they're walking out. But the thing is, you need to mix it in with a letter writing campaign so people won't keep doing this and they can stop blaming video games on violence and they can actually
think-
focus on what is truly causing violence.
And to be honest with you, I think that the push for like a nationwide student walkout, the emphasis on doing the walkout is because you probably have had these written campaigns to try to educate your supposed representatives and the president, but they don't do anything. And that brings us to what happened today. Number 45, the President of the United States of America, went on, I guess every single news station you could possibly go on, and basically says we're gonna change the law to 21 and above for guns. We're gonna do this.
Only assault rifles.
We're only gonna do that. We're gonna do this. Look, words are nice. Actions will be fantastic. I will wait until the actions. Now, so this gentleman is not putting all of the blame, the violence, the I guess, what do you call it? Desensitization of violence on video games and movies. However, he believes that there should be a ban on violent video games and disgusting movies to try and prevent gun massacres. He implied that youngsters were able to access both too easily while their minds were still forming. Okay. As I stated last week, do you know how to make the accessibility to violent video games, disgusting movies a little tougher? Be a fucking parent. How hard is that? If you find something, okay, I understand that there's a lot of individuals. There's quite a few parents out there who allow for TV nannying or babysitting in front of the TV or video games. If Johnny wants Bloody Massacre 45 and it's because everyone else has it, sure, what the hell? If all of her friends play it, it can't be that bad. Be informed. Be informed. Know what your kid is watching. Know what your kid is playing. The thing is, there's this wonderful thing called a video game rating system and they've gotten more sophisticated on the back where they actually tell you why it got that rating, like tobacco usage and inappropriate language.
I bought a game a few weeks ago, and I got carded for it.
See, the problem is a lot of parents out there who get carded for the video game believe that they're getting carded for the credit card because they don't. Anyway,
Well, of course, you didn't read the rest of the quote, though. But killing is involved, and maybe we need to put a rating system for that.
no, I know.
So I'm going to pull up my cell phone here with my talking points and go down to number 5, and I hear you.
No, see,
But
that's,
I
that's
disagree
for
with
movies. I haven't gotten to the movies yet.
Okay.
Oh.
No. So first of all, there is a rating system for video games. Now, what our illustrious leader went on to say, you see these movies, and they're so violent, a kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved. So if sex is involved, they can't watch it. That's okay. But killing is involved, and maybe we need to put a rating system for that. There is a movie rating system.
There is?
Yeah.
What?
It's called G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17, unrated.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think
and
you're
then
lying.
there's a TV.
This is a liberal conspiracy. That
Then
you
there's a
make up.
TV show rating system of Y, Y7. Oh shit. Y7, G, T,
T14, I think.
T14.
Or TV, TV14, TVMA.
If you're on HBO, everything's just TVMA. Makes it easy.
TVX.
But then, just remember though, it's on Netflix. It's there, but it's not as noticeable. And pretty much everything on Netflix is TVMA.
No,
I
it's
think
just unrated.
As it should be.
Anyway, so all right, so let me just, if you're concerned about what your child may be playing or watching, be a fucking parent and find out what they're playing or watching. If you're concerned that little Johnny's friend, I don't know, Steven, is a bad influence because he's got all these violent video games, then Steven could come over to your house, not your boy going over to his house, so that you can monitor your child. It's not hard. Just be a part of your kid's fucking life.
But I'd rather stay home and watch, like, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and...
There's nothing wrong with watching that with your kid.
No, I want my kid to go away so I can watch... Okay, I want to watch Game of Thrones, so I just send Johnny away. How's that?
Lock him in the room. Give him a book.
But the only thing he's entertained
Puzzle.
by... The only thing he's entertained by is his iPad. If he doesn't have his iPad, he throws a temper tantrum.
You know what
and
this...
I just can't deal with that every night, Charlie.
You know what's amazing? It's called imagination.
No, the iPad is my kid's imagination.
You give him a cardboard box and say, pretend that you're playing your iPad.
Charlie, you're not going to tell me how to parent my kids. You can't tell me how to do it.
Okay, just don't bitch and moan to me when your kid does crazy stuff because you're keeping them unsupervised.
Oh, no, that's your fault.
Right, so anyways, okay, so he goes on to say, the fact is that you are having movies come out that are so violent, the killing and everything else.
Yes.
We may have to think about that.
Let's think about the violence. I'm thinking very hard. It's not making me feel violent.
Okay, so there's another thing that parents can do, and that is to, and I do this with my 5-year-old son. When he sees violence, either in a show, or in a movie, or in a game, this is pretend. We do not do this in the real world. Even though sometimes that doesn't stop my son from trying to have sword fights with his cousin, and one ends up with a black eye and one ends up with a huge ass bruise. Is there a video issue? Great. But
It's just Jesse on the show. It's messing with the video.
but anyways, I just
Yes, and the problem too when you have things like this, which 45 is saying, is I feel like it also moves the issue at hand to something that's irrelevant. It's completely misdiagnosing what the issue is, and we're completely missing the point of how to even combat the issue of what's going on.
You can't politicize parenting, and that's the problem. So they've got to politicize something. Because you can't say parents, you don't know how to raise your kids, so they blame it on video games.
He blames
They blame it on
everybody
movies.
else for everything.
That's right. Because in the end, it comes down to what happens in your own home. And you can't really say, well, you can't do that in your own home.
One of the other statements, and it's not in my little cheat sheet here, but one of the other things is we need to reopen mental hospitals. No, they were shut down for insane practices of basically leaving people in their own shit in corridors. We need to actually, instead of continuously removing money from healthcare, we need to actually funnel money into healthcare so that we can actually fulfill the promise of taking mental health and well-being into.
Yeah, I don't see.
But what you're forgetting is this is actually how politicians work. Especially, sadly, I don't want to say a certain party who thinks the government's too big. They pull money out of something, and then when something happens, they put money back into it to look like they are doing something. So, our current president has cut half the budget for mental health care from the National Institutes of Health.
Mm-hmm.
So now what he's going to do is he complained it wasn't enough, it wasn't doing anything before, so he cut it, and now he's going to add it in.
So it looks like he's doing something.
But yes, but it
Well, of
seems
course.
like we're having
But-
some streaming
but-
issues, so I don't know if anybody heard that.
No. Well, we're still recording. So
Oh, good. They'll
at
come
the
later.
at the very least, we could just give the video. But once again, this is just words. This is I'm going to say a bunch of things so that that I sound like I'm doing the right thing, but at the same time, are we actually, are we actually going to see this what's promised? Because let's be honest, number 45 does not have a really good track record of fulfilling his promises or actually knowing how to do the vast majority of what he's supposed to be doing.
In fact, he's actually fulfilled all of his promises, but they're crazy town,
Yep.
and they've done nothing but cause more problems, which is what everybody said he was going to do.
Right, and yes. Well, we wanted the polar opposite of what we had.
And we got it.
Oh, we got it.
Went the other way, for better or for worse.
Now, there was a comedian, I can't remember who the comedian is, and he's like, look, if this guy keeps going the way he's going, you know who the next president's going to be? Jesus. Because we're going to need it. He'd be like, all right, guys, step aside. I guess I got to take it from here.
You mean Mike Pence? Mike Pence.
No.
Jesus.
You know that's the reason why Trump hasn't been impeached, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to get too political, but that's probably.
That's probably why.
Oh no, Pence is totally running after Trump.
No, I know, but,
Yeah.
He's
but I'm just
scary
saying
town.
that
Even Omarosa thinks Pence is scared.
no, he is scared.
He's scared.
But yeah, okay. Anyways, so moral of the story is we'll wait to see if he actually does anything. But let's actually look at actual studies and data before we actually make assumptions or declarations that don't have any merit.
And part of the problem with that is that since '96, the studying of gun violence has basically been banned by the CDC or
No.
for the CDC.
Right. The NRA did a fun little thing that, CDC.
The Dickey Act is the Dickey Act, which basically says that they can't do any studies that promote gun legislation. But basically what that turns into is the theory is any study that they do behind gun violence will create gun legislation, so the CDC just can't do any studies at all about gun violence is what it's turned
Well,
into.
if we keep going down the road we're going down, the CDC won't be able to do anything because we're going to keep
Defunding them for everything because it's all a political game either way. Yes.
All right, off of politics. Let's go on to quite an interesting little twist of thing, and that, of course, is there is a plane simulator that just received an add-on, which actually had some malware in it.
It's not malware, it's feature enhancement.
So what happened was a Reddit user found that the installer seemed to be extracting a test.exe file that basically was the same type of file as the Chrome password dump tool, which can be found online. The tool appears to extract passwords saved in the Chrome web browser, not something you expect to find in a flight sim add-on. The fact that the installer necessarily needs to run with this with enhanced permissions increase the security threat from the password dump. So in order to actually play this add-on, you had to increase basically the security clearance for that add-on.
So it could run.
So it could run. So it could basically grab all your information. Now here, yeah. So the head of the company said basically the file does not reveal any sensitive information of any customer who has legitimately purchased our products. But if you legitimately, why is it still installing them?
Because they can.
So basically, it's like the file, he insists, is only activated if the installer sees a serial number that matches a database of pirated numbers found floating around on the internet. So it's a sleeper cell. It just sits there. And just in case someone steals your serial number and puts it on theirs, then like, which one's the real thing? We better try to catch both of them. And then, yeah.
Or conversely, instead of the Reddit user making this public knowledge, it could be some hacker cell out of North Korea who finds out about this little exploit, and now guess what? Now they could potentially use this password dump as an exploit on people's computers who have this installed. That's the issue with any backdoor. It's not just a good, I'm calling them a good person in this place, even though they're sketchy, is you have the good party, but a bad party can very easily take control of that exploit if they know it exists, because they're not going to make it public knowledge.
So he goes on to say, this method has already successfully provided information that we're going to use in our ongoing legal battles against such criminals. He acknowledges that some users were uncomfortable with this particular method, which might be considered to be a bit heavy-handed on their part. Heavy-handed? Are you shitting me? They're potentially stealing all of your information, like all of your logins, your banking, if you actually know how to invest, your investment stuff, because I have no idea, your credit card, whatever.
That's your fault for keeping it on the computer.
I feel like that's actually could be like some form of like actual computer hacking. Like, because you're actually, without a person's knowledge, dumping their like, if you or I did that to another person without their knowledge, like, that's against the law.
So, so a lot of people are basically harking back to the DRM fiascos. Basically, EA's use of unremovable, intrusive, secure ROM software to protect some of its titles, and Sony's installation of a system destabilization rootkit inside audio CD player, the audio CDs.
I remember that.
Which, of course, both of those led to multiple lawsuits against the publishers, and those instances didn't even reveal any of the user's personal information. So the question then becomes, are you expecting lawsuits? Because I'm sure as hell
they were expecting to get away with it.
They were. They didn't think anybody would find out.
They didn't think
those damn kids and their sneaky ways.
So
and yes, Sam, I've heard the same. I have a Razer mouse. I've never installed the Snap software because I've also heard sketchy things about it.
So okay, so there was a follow-up. There's an update that basically said that the guy actually confirmed that it was basically the Chrome password dump tool to use to try to find pirated copies of the game. The tool was only activated in case of one specific pirate who had been identified as creating and distributing illicit registration keys via an offline key generation tool. But once again, if he's creating serial keys or serial numbers, there's a chance that it's a true one that maybe someone bought a physical copy to and hasn't actually put the number in, and so you just basically jack that person over.
And you're also trusting this company to not misuse that. So maybe let's just hypothetically say, we give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they only used it in this one case, but all it takes is one person at that company who has access to this program to just magically dump everybody's passwords to their offline computer or something and run away
And
with it.
then sell the information.
Exactly.
On the dark web.
Oh, for bitcoins.
He goes on to say, we even went so far as to figure out exactly who the cracker was.
What?
But unfortunately, we could not be able to enter the registration-only websites he was using to provide this information to other pirates. We found through the IP addresses tracked that the particular cracker had used Chrome to contact our servers. So we decided to capture his information directly, and only his information. How? How only his information?
Here's the thing, it sounds like that. Okay, so guessing how the key generator works is it probably talks back to their servers to authenticate, which my guess doesn't require any of this password crap. Because the only reason, according to his own words, the reason they wanted to use this password thing was to be able to log into these pirate websites, which they weren't even able to do. So the whole purpose of the software didn't even work the way it was intended to. So, like, he's using his own words against him. That, yeah, we tried, it didn't even work. We suck.
Yep.
So he emphasizes numerous times that this browser dumping tool will never execute on your machine. However, if you are you have an illicit copy of the game, that will be turned on. So we have already replaced the installer in question and can only promise you that we will do everything in our power to rectify the issue with those who feel offended, as well as never use any such heavy-handed approach in the future. Once again, we humbly apologize. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but the damage could potentially have already been done to everyone who had already got this add-on who didn't know that there was some malicious software.
This reminds me of Equifax and their epic fail.
Possibly.
I mean, they're two different cases, but
Oh, PlayStation.
yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of companies are just failures when
I
it comes
just-
to this kind of stuff.
What? That's so stupid.
Businesses are sneaky, and they try to get one over on us, and hopefully someone like this finds out. And
In the good old days of instant news and whatnot, you can't get away with this stuff.
But think about that. Okay, so in this case, this Reddit user found out about it. How many programs do you think are out there that have something sneaky like this that nobody's actually found yet because they are just not even thinking to look for it?
Are
So
you kidding me? There's individuals who basically sit around and go, what does this file do? What does this file do? What is that file? What's that file? And that's how that's how they find joy in their life. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I blindly install stuff from Steam, and I'm sure that there's some shit that Steam might be putting on my computer to, like, I don't know.
you signed a waiver for that, by the way.
No.
You
It's
just
called a
didn't read
EULA,
it.
End user license agreement.
Yes. Basically signs your soul away without even knowing it.
People do it all the time.
Well,
Bart Simpson's done it.
there's a lot of video games out there who have a EULA that if you actually read it, basically says we have the right to revoke your access to this product with son of a bitch. Sorry, my team just lost. Without prior
Georgia?
knowledge. No, there's also
Well, yes, because it's a license to play the game. You don't actually own that.
yeah. Thanks a lot, Bill Gates. No, if I knew, it would be one thing if a EULA popped up saying, hey, by the way, when you install this add-on, we're installing something to try to protect you from crackers or hackers or something, and you accept that, sure. But just blindly throwing shit on there that no one knows about, that's a no-no.
Well, remember, like, from the 90s when, like, people would have, like, their Internet Explorer bar with, like, 80 add-ons? Because, like, they'd always install this, like, extra crap, and everything had, like, 4 separate add-ons.
Yep.
And each of those 4 add-ons had another 4 add-ons.
Yep.
Like, why is my computer running slow? And you look at it, you could, like, see, like, the actual web browser. Because there's so many damn add-ons. Because that used to be, like, the thing. Like, even Java did... I think Java, do they still actually do that, I wonder?
All I know is that Java is still a memory hog, and if you leave a Java app open for too long, it will crash your browser.
Oh, Java and, well, at least Flash is supposedly going away in 2021.
I thought it was already dead.
Oh no, it's still. Oh, believe me, it's alive and well. I know. They have to keep up all
What
the
about
updates.
what about QuickTime?
Oh god, no. The worst is on a Mac is when they have the Windows, the WMV files, because those don't play natively in Macs. You have to get some stupid. Oh god, like can't everybody just use freaking HTML file already?
Yeah.
Just make everybody's life easier.
But this is the way we've always done things. Believe me,
Thank
you have no idea how many times I hear that on a daily basis. It's like, dude, I'm trying to protect your app. Well, this has never been a problem in the past. Fantastic, awesome. Even Windows 10 supposedly isn't trustworthy with normal settings. I just accept that in this day and age, I'm hacked.
True. When you install Windows 10, there's a lot of default options that basically allows Windows to know everything that's going on your computer at all times and send it back to Microsoft.
They're just trying to improve your experience.
In theory, you can turn all those toggle boxes off.
I just assume my IT guy knows all my passwords.
Oh, we do.
I know.
It's great. And I know all your banking information.
Exactly.
Which actually, who am I kidding? I work in education. That doesn't help.
They're all poor.
Exactly.
But speaking of which, one of the great ideas that our number 45 had was let's arm the teachers. I mean, just those individuals with military training who would be able to have a gun.
Look, we have a former cop who walks around school. He's a trained, he's trained. He was a cop for 30 years. He's a negotiator by trade. He walks around with this open gun permit. I have no problem with that. He walks around, but the difference, that's what he does. His only worry at school is worrying about the safety of the kids and us. So he's walking around and he's always, he always has that hand on his gun. He's always aware of it. He knows what's going on. That's cool. I'm thinking about teachers at school. Oh, I don't know about you, but the thought of my teachers having guns frightens the hell out of me.
I'm more likely to shoot myself in the foot than somebody else.
Oh,
right, absolutely.
Yes.
And I'll be totally honest, and Jesse can agree. The school that our kids currently reside in have at least 4 guards that are armed, that do police both the outside and the inside, just because there have been bomb threats on that establishment.
Yep. But that's their job. Their job is
Right.
to be security for. A teacher's job is not to walk around with a gun, concealed or not. That idea scares me.
Absolutely. Nudge says with proper training, you can use one safely and properly. Absolutely.
I
But
agree.
the problem, and this is, the problem is the vast majority of individuals who want to buy a gun for the protection just buy the gun and think that when it comes time for them to use it, they're going to know how to use it. I personally do not want to have a gun in my house. However, I do want to be trained to know how to use a gun if push came to shove, in case I'm put in that situation, so I don't shoot an innocent bystander, myself, a loved one, or I look like a dipshit and leave the safety on. Yes, proper training, and that unfortunately is not a.
It's not a priority.
No. Nudge says,
People who pass
and also it is
legislation.
safer than one cop with a gun should an individual come in their school and the officer gets shot. However, here's the other side of the argument. Let's say that there is a school shooting. Okay, there's very little information. Teachers are carrying. The police officer, the SWAT team is surrounding the building. They see someone running around with a handgun. Are you going to be like, wait, that's a teacher? Or are you going to try to take out the individual who's sprinting down the hallway with a handgun?
And same thing, if you're a teacher and you see somebody else with a gun, are you going to necessarily know who that is? It's such a split-second thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different training when you're a cop and that's your background versus when you're a teacher and that's not your daily background. It's 2 totally different scenarios as far as those types of situations.
Nudge says they don't run around, they shelter in place, and they stay in their classroom.
That's absolutely true. So if that is the case, if I'm sheltering with my students in the classroom, then why am I going to have a gun to protect my students? I'm actually going to make sure I can get them out of the building as fast as I can. And that is actually what police come into schools now and tell you. They actually try to run first, oddly enough, and that is supposedly the new procedures.
Is it?
Supposedly.
We
But
still
also-
we still do the duck in the closet.
It really honestly depends on which police officer comes to your school that day to talk about it. There is no set measures from police officers and police precincts on how students and teachers should react, which is another issue about arming teachers because there is no set protocol. It really depends on which police precinct, which police officer, and who comes in to talk about your school, how it works. No one really knows always what to do, which is actually quite pathetic in this day and age.
The other thing is, you're also, once again, it's a training thing. Yes, you could potentially, a teacher, unfortunately, not every single teacher is going to think will be in the right mind when in a crisis situation. There are teachers who will melt under the pressure. I know a specific teacher who would do that. I'm not going to name them, but I know for a fact that they would go. So I really don't want them with a gun. But the thing is, at the same time, if a teacher has a gun, they don't have the training. They could potentially, they have a higher potential of injuring a student or themselves than an assailant in the school. I personally I don't.
And the problem with too, Dutch, is where. So when we're talking about arming teachers, are we talking about the way I've always heard it proposed? I could be wrong. Is that the school's going to help with this training and providing? The problem is we still have schools who can't afford to give textbooks
Or pencils.
and so all of a sudden, now we're expecting this additional training for teachers for above what teachers are already able to get trained for. Like, a lot of schools can't afford to give their teachers normal professional development in the form of coursework and how to educate their students. And now we want schools to now all of a sudden be able to afford to give teachers development as far as how to deal with active shooters. So it's also an issue of where is this training coming from?
Well, so how about who's going to pay for the gun and the ammunition that the teachers will have to walk around with?
Like, I know,
The teachers cannot do it themselves.
and like I know that so you gotta ask teachers in a lot of schools. I don't know about y'all's, but the gun and ammo is it's locked down. It's not like it's just freely available. It's not like I just walk in with my open carry every day. It's regulated by the school. So it's just I think that's a dangerous path to go down.
See,
I don't really know any teachers personally who actually work in a school who are in favor of it.
See, here's the interesting thing. We all three of us have some touch of like the education system. I deal with teachers. He deals with teachers. He is a teacher. So I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, sure. You want those heroes, the people who protect your youngins to truly be able to protect them. But I just there's got to be a better way. And I mean, if the teacher likes to shoot guns on the weekends, cool. I just don't think that introducing additional weapons into a school system, in my honest opinion, would be the best solution. That's it. Yeah. Okay, so suddenly you're trying to grab. Okay, so someone actually said Okay, so Sam Grizzle, armed teachers, metal detectors, more FBI investigations, ban video games, ban violent movies, etc., or get rid of guns, like most first world countries. All right, so I knew this we were going to go down this rabbit hole, but okay, so let me make one thing exceptionally clear. If we go for stricter gun laws and legislation and all that stuff, you're not going to see someone walking door to door with a fucking wagon going, okay, throw all your guns in there. No one's taking away your guns. They're just trying to make it more difficult to obtain said guns.
So what you're saying is we should burn guns like we burn books.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Make sure the ammo's still in the gun when you burn it.
That's what you could do if somebody intrudes into your house.
Set it on fire! So someone made the argument of, well, if they don't have guns, they'll just bring knives to school. and a comedian said, "Could you actually imagine that? So let's say that you have a mass shooting, right? You lose like 10 students. Are you kidding me? Do you think that 10 students are going to stand around with some guy who goes and stab you, and stab you, and stab you?"
No, see, that's a dual wielding like katana martial artist. I could take out people quicker than if I had a gun. Have you ever seen Into the Badlands?
It's a great show.
Yeah, they could totally
I
take you
watched
out.
like the first couple.
Great show.
Yeah,
Well, I know
It is a
knives
great
could
show.
do damage. However, guns are gonna. You've got a better chance of. Unfortunately, you have a better chance of killing a lot of people with a gun in a very short amount of time than you have with a knife. Sure, in the long haul, if you're sneaky, you could probably kill a shit ton of people with a knife. However, in a school setting, chances are you're not going to easily. I mean, unless you corner them and like drug them and make them fall asleep or something like that, someone's going to get away, or they're all going to dart pile on you, and then you're going to get arrested
Or I
killed.
swing at you with a chair.
Sure, machetes. Once again,
Dual wielding machetes.
sure. Anyways,
It's a feat from Dungeons and Dragons, man.
road class, dual wielding.
Yes.
Well, yes. Nudge. Okay. So, correct. There are a lot of individuals who will freeze up in the event or being faced with violence or weapons. However, they are. You're basically saying that anyone who's faced in a violent situation everyone would freeze. I don't think so. I think there's enough people. The thing is, yes, a vast majority of individuals will freeze up. However, if there is someone who is strong-willed and is can rally the troops, because it's sad to say the vast majority of the U.S. is sheeple. They can't do anything unless someone tells them what to do or what to believe or how to talk or all that stuff. But if you have someone who actually goes into I don't know, a crisis mode where they actually think clearly, then they can, it's okay.
I would just move on at this point.
All right. So, anyways, let's just say that it would be nice for an actual discussion to take place instead of just words being used by number 45. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's run down a couple things. First of all, it absolutely kills me.
Kills you?
Kills me.
No killing of the Charlie.
Kills me.
I don't have my knife.
That this weekend is Kanuga. Kanuga.
Thank you. I actually had it on my Facebook where I saw my 3 Doctor Who shock flashes that I got there 2 years ago. Come on.
Yeah, sadly, Alter Confusion will not be there. I know we've said this many times. But sadly, we will not be there. Either as as an attendee, as a fan table, as a panelist, as media. Unfortunately, we just could not swing it this year. There are a ton of individuals who are greatly saddened by that fact. We are in that group. But I do want to stress one thing, and I know that I don't need to say this anymore, but I'm going to say it again. The reason why we're not at Kanuga is for financial reasons. It has nothing to do with the issue that occurred after we released our last year's review of Kanuga. Speaking of conventions, let's talk about Andocon, because Andocon is literally right around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Andocon is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, it's going to be Peachtree Corners, Georgia.
Oh, really?
March 9th through the 11th at the Peachtree Corners Marriott. It's going to be March 9th through the 11th. I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. Andocon! We of course will be there. I will definitely be there the entire time. I don't know if I should, what the hell? I'm going to reveal it. Ladies and gentlemen, March the 8th, which is 2 Thursdays from now,
Ooh,
we will have a special guest who will be pumping us full of awesomeness about Andocon. And if you can figure out who that would be,
Craig Campbell.
No.
I bet it's Ando.
It's Ando.
Well, Craig has talked to us about doing one
Right.
for Capers.
Right. When does he want to do it for Capers?
I don't know. He's emailed both of us about it.
Yeah, well,
probably,
we do.
I was
It's
in
the same
March.
thing. I don't know.
We should probably get back to him.
Yeah. But anyways, AndoCon, of course, is an analog gaming convention. Analog basically meaning that it's going to be card games, pencil and paper RPGs, tabletop games, board games, and whatnot. It is a lot of fun.
It is indeed, and it's great because it's just like people who want to play board games and have fun, and they're all friendly. And every game, the really popular games and the new games for people who they're creating them. And you get to come in on the alpha beta testing and play a game before it even gets to fruition.
Yes.
It's just a lot of fun, definitely enjoyable. Definitely looking forward to some AndoCon.
The other thing is I'm going to be trying to figure out some streaming stuff. I know that I've promised Ando to try to figure out a way to stream the opening ceremonies, but I'm going to try to stream a lot more to give the individuals who may not be able to go to this year's AndoCon, because hopefully it's a big enough success this year that we'll get to do it again next year. So I'll be trying to give you as much video and awesomeness that I can from the convention. So be on the lookout for that. Speaking of conventions, there's another convention that's happening at the end of May. May 24th through the 27th, 2018, the Georgia World Congress Center. There's a phenomenal convention that keeps growing every year called MomoCon.
MomoCon!
MomoCon, of course, started off as a little anime fandom convention in the Student Center of Georgia Tech. It's now grown to basically take up an entire section of the Georgia World Congress
I
Center.
thought they get A and B this year. Or B and C, whatever it is. They only had B last year.
I don't know if they actually... I know they were talking about getting a second one, but if they do, that would be phenomenal. There's going to be tons of voice actors. There's tons of games. I just officially got my my media press credentials, so I will once again be press. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think the real reason why Ultra Confusion keeps getting press is because we are the most avid supporter of the indie developers who are showing off their stuff there. I make it a point to interview all of them. If I don't get all of them, which I think I only missed 2 last year because I was a crazy man. But that's really what it is. We're giving support and love to the indies, which is what we've been doing since day one. But we get to stress it even more at MomoCon to give a little extra love. And of course, as being media, I do get to do group interviews with some of the bigger names. So be on the lookout. MomoCon. There's still time to buy a ticket if you want. We will have a fan table. It's already been assured that we'll have a fan table by our best of buddies. The lovely lady who takes care of us every single year will, of course, be the head of the fan table again. All right, let's go into... All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's a phenomenal thing called Patreon. Patreon, of course, is your ability to help us out by becoming our patron. By doing this, basically, it's a monthly donation system. You can donate as little as $1, or you can donate more. It is going every single month. It's a monthly deduction. That money gets funneled into Ultra Confusion, which is then used to help us get to conventions, pay electrical convention costs, update the equipment or maintain the equipment, perhaps finally replace a certain monitor. Or get a new camcorder to help with the video instead of having to use a third-party plugin to basically recode all of the Canon camcorder files, which are stored as .cam files. So that would be lovely. But of course, if you do not feel that you're up for doing a monthly donation, but you still want to go the financial route, there is a Donate Now button that once again goes into Ultra Confusion. And that will, of course, once again, go into Sam Grizzle. I donated, but I didn't buy the Ultra Confusion t-shirt. I still need to make the Ultra Confusion t-shirt. Thank you for reminding me, Sam. I will make an Ultra Confusion t-shirt.
I'll sell you mine for a fee. This is like a collector's item.
I need to do I need to do an Ultra Confusion T-shirt. I need to finally get the Ultra Confusion web comic book thing finalized. Oops, did I say something on that?
Which we could totally bring copies of too.
I'm not gonna be able to pull it that fast because I still need to put it in template. But in the near, there's a lot of Ultra Confusion stuff that I would like to do, and hope maybe that would help drive some stuff. The other thing is, if you can't do anything financially for Ultra Confusion, the thing that would be awesome that you could do for Ultra Confusion that would go above and beyond is simply sharing what we give you. If you like our show, share it with others. I love the fact that individuals like and favorite tweets and posts and all that stuff, but it would mean the world to me and the rest of Ultra Confusion if not only you like and favorited it, but you also shared it with your friends, because that's how we can make this better. The more conversing that we can do, the more voices and opinions we can get in there, we can help create better topics and better shows with participation. So, ladies and gentlemen, any way that you can help Ultra Confusion would be phenomenal. Now, of course, if you want to know the latest and greatest of Ultra Confusion, I would like for you to of course, follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Ultra Confusion LLC. Of course, if you're watching this live, you don't really need to know the Twitch channel, but just in case you're watching this recorded, it is twitch.tv/Ultra Confusion. Our Facebook page is Ultra Confusion. And of course, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it is
Ultra Confusio without the end, because
in
Too long? I don't know.
would break the internet.
You gotta give me a break. I ran out of things to say like 45 minutes ago.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Of course, I really want to thank Jesse for hopping on for the show. Hopefully we can get Jesse on.
I like how I keep being called the new guy. I've actually been around for like 6 years. I just don't come that often.
he's actually the original Zealeus on the live show.
Really?
Yeah, I remember I lived in Minnesota.
He
Right.
lived in Minnesota. I was actually with him the whole
that's
time.
true.
Yeah, but that was like 6 years ago now.
No, it's been longer than that, dude.
Really? 7 years? 10?
No, 8.
Yeah,
8 years? Okay.
Yeah.
You
I've
never
been
Anyways.
around a while. I just don't come around that often anymore.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone who tuned in to this show, and I apologize for the false starts, the multiple false starts that my dumbass was to blame for.
Kelly to Charlie.
Yes. But of course, if you still want to stick around, I am going to be doing some game streaming on later. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. Jesse, I'm sorry, you'll have to learn this soon. Okay.
Okay, I will. I'll be fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, Zealeus, and Jesse, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout, where it's sure to be awesome because you, my friends, will be helping us with our discussions.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.